You know, we just get lucky, man. The weather gods are nice to us. You know, it started to get a little bit hot, but you know, it ended up being another great day, and we're just blessed to be out here.
Yeah, I mean, however many kids were out there,
Yeah.
I mean, it gets better, it seems, every year.
Yeah,
Almost.
yeah, it does, and you know, it's crazy just the continued support. And obviously, I announced my retirement after the season, and still being able to have a football camp like this just goes to show how much support we have in Fall Story and around. You know, every group I walk up to, I ask where they're from, and it's just neighboring schools, Fall Storia, Tiffin, all over the place. There was a kid from Maryland today. I asked him if he flew or drove. He said I drove 7 hours. I was like, wow. Like, see, that's awesome. So it's cool to see. It's cool. You're good, Greg. It's cool to see you know, people coming from all over to still support this event.
Yeah, but I remember talking to a girl from Wisconsin a few years ago who came to see you because she knew you from the
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. It's crazy because these people know me from the Packers. They know me from Buffalo. There's actually 2 kids from Buffalo, too, that I saw today. And they know me from, you know, there was a kid that came from Iowa. So they know me from these different places. And for them to come to my hometown is, like, it's wild to me because it's such a far drive. It's so, you know, and for me, I'm just like, you know, it seems like it's more of a local event, you know, with neighboring schools, but that's not the case. Like, people are coming from all over to support me and support, you know, this foundation and stuff. So it's just a blessing.
Is that something you would have done back in the day when, I don't know, who was your hero?
Yeah, I definitely would have did that. It could have. I mean, the varsity football team was my heroes. You know,
Right.
like that was the varsity basketball team, the varsity baseball team. Like those guys were my heroes back then. And you know, obviously my older brother was someone I really looked up to when I was growing up, and
Right.
kind of led the way for me to understand. You know, kind of, you know, the whole football process and going through middle school, going through high school, getting to college, and then you know, obviously, you know, with Marcus paving the way for me. Being able to take it to the next level and play in the NFL for so long. So, man, I feel like there was so many different people that, you know, I kind of just leached myself to. Really, and I guess I never really, you know, say that, but it's the truth. Like that's my advice to young kids is, man, like find somebody that is successful or that is doing something that you want to do, and you know, leech onto them, and then you just keep, you know, seeing what other people are doing, successful people, and you know, just kind of carry on from there. But I feel like that's what I always did my whole life, and it started with my brother. So, you know, I was just fortunate enough like that.
Yeah. When you see this many kids around, you know, wearing your number or whatever, well, they get the T-shirts.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
But anyway, they come and they have
Yep.
those stuff, or they have a Hyde jersey or whatever.
Yeah.
That's gotta feel good.
It's
I mean,
yeah, it's wild. It's wild, you know, because to me, like, I never really put myself in that celebrity status. You know, I always felt like I can always walk the streets of Fall Story and not worry about, you know, someone coming up and, you know, doing like, you know, what some guys have, kind of that celebrity status. But for me, I never kind of I never stepped into that lifestyle. I've always just remembered who I was and being a Fall Story. So when I see those things and I see guys walking around, see kids walking around with my jersey, and it's like, whoa, like, to me, I never really felt that I was like having that big of an impact. I was just going about my life and trying to be as successful as possible. And yeah, I knew I was a mentor to a lot of kids, and I know a lot of people from like back here were watching me. But at the end of the day, like, I was so stuck in the process of getting better. Like myself, I need to get better. I need to, you know, work on this. I need to work on that. That to see that stuff now is really mind blowing.
yeah. Now this is 2 years in a row that you've missed minicamp
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
OTAs and that kind of stuff. Have you missed it at all?
No. I'm gonna miss the locker room. You're good. I'm gonna miss the locker room, you know, being with the guys. Because for myself, being in the locker room, being surrounded by so many different guys, so many different walks of life, so many different cultures, so many different like young guys, older guys, even the coaches, just bringing that knowledge each and every day. That's what I miss. The daily conversations and relationships. Like,
Right.
at the end of the day, you can't pay me enough to go out there and tackle anybody ever again. Like, my body would literally crumble, and I probably wouldn't get up. So, those are the things I'm going to miss, and having those daily conversations with guys and just trying to help the younger guys, because ultimately, they get thrown in that position with a lot of money, and they're expected to navigate their life that way. And I feel like I was able to, I made some mistakes, so I'm able to, teach them and coach them through that life. And so that's the conversations I'm going to miss. But as far as putting those pads on, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I mean, also playing in front of 80,000, 100,000 fans and screaming and making a big play, that's obviously something I'm going to miss, but not the physicality of the game.
Right.
Now, what's your plans now that you're retired? What are your plans now? Obviously, you're doing some things in Fall Story.
Yeah.
You used to come on that, but what's next? Obviously, you're a kid from Fall Story.
Yeah.
Did you ever expect that you'd be at the NFL? Obviously, you worked very hard to get to where you are.
Yeah.
Did you ever expect that being a kid from Fall Story?
Yeah, but no. I want to say the competitor in me has always kind of been like, I can make it. Especially when people have doubted me, I've always been like, basically, forget you. Like, now I got to prove you wrong. And I've always had that chip on my shoulder in that sense, like kind of that underdog role, being from a small town and kind of being doubted. So I've had that, but then I've also had that other side where it's been like, wow, like this is pretty crazy that I was able to make it that far and whatnot. And so, to be able to play 12 years in the league and look back and be like, okay, that was one chapter of my life, and now this next chapter is filled with just being a parent, being a dad, being the best husband I can be, being the best family member, whether if it's son or brother or whatever. And I just want to be surrounded by just love, man, and just like my family and my friends, and help support them whatever they're doing. Obviously, like you just mentioned, we were able to purchase a building here in Fall Story. We're trying to do some good things, not only with just that downtown area, and but try to get the foundation involved with the building and stuff like that.
You've always been involved. Even
Yeah.
for your NFL, you've never forgotten about Fall Story. You've
Yeah.
always been involved in Fall Story.
Yeah.
Obviously, your foundation is very, very good to Fall Story.
Yep.
So, and it's also very good that you're also helping support the youth football program,
Yeah.
Fall Story Bills.
Yeah.
A lot of kids here today in my camp, and also I've been to a lot of those games. Those kids really look up to you,
Yeah.
and really love the fact that you help support getting the Fall Story Bills program up and running.
Yeah, I mean that's little stuff that we're I mean, not little stuff, but that's bigger stuff that we're doing here in the community that we're going to continue to do. Just trying to get that football program going. A lot of the girls that participated today, we said we'll pay for them to start a flag football for girls, a league all from the YMCA. So we're going to pay for them to be in it, the girls that were involved today. So that's another thing, and obviously just all the other Kicks for Kids events that we do here in town. In 2 years, we're going to start paying out scholarships for our champions, our champions scholarship program. So, we're going to continue to do things in Fall Story. So that's kind of on the foundation side, but then the personal side with the the real estate and the building downtown. That's something we're just trying to light a spark within this community to be like, hey, like this is a beautiful place with a lot of beautiful people. And my wife is not from here, but she comes here a lot with me, and we drive through the community, and it's just like, she sees the people, she knows a lot of people that are from here, and she's like, it's just sad because what you see in this community is not the people. They don't match,
Right.
And so we're trying to do what we can do to kind of light a fire within this community to say, hey, like we'll be the first ones. If it takes us trying to put a little bit of money into it and come up with something cool for the downtown, we'll do it, and hoping that everybody follows. But I have to say, a lot of people downtown are very competitive with their own buildings and stuff like that, and I have to say that's been a frustrating process navigating here in town because I'm from here, born and raised here, and all I want to do is try to help. And so a lot of people are kind of being selfish and stingy with the goal that we have, and so we're just going to continue to try to hack away at that for sure.
Obviously, you never forgot about Fall Story, so we have to, I want to mention, highlight that.
Yeah.
That you've never forgotten about Fall Story. You've never moved far away and said, oh, who cares about Fall Story? I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people probably watching this video appreciate that you've never forgotten about where you came from.
Yeah. I mean, I just love this place. That's where I'm from. That's what raised me. Not only my mom, and obviously the plenty of people, my friends' parents that have helped along the way. But I can remember just every single face that impacted my life. And like I just said, I just leached on to people. I wanted to basically know, how to be successful, how to, whether if it's to be a dad, my friends' parents, obviously my mom was a great mom and did whatever she could do, but it takes a village, and Fall Story was the perfect village for me at that time and for my siblings to be raised in. And so I'm just forever blessed to grow up in this place, be raised in this place, and I'll never forget it.
Is MJ starting to really understand what you do or did?
As far as like football,
Yeah.
they know.
I know he's liked it.
Yeah, they know. Maddie, she knows too. Dad was a football player, and they went to games. They see videos and pictures of them at games all the time. And whether it's MJ used to always watch highlights of me. My highlight tapes on YouTube and stuff. So he knows pretty much. They love coming to Fall Storia. We told them we were all coming to Fall Storia, a couple weeks ago, and they are excited because they know that they can come here and play with the cousins and run around and swim and do that type of stuff. So the more we can do that and get the kids in front of family and friends and come into these events, because I want them to understand, like, hey, what you have, you're very blessed with, because Mama and Dada put in a lot of hard work, and so they will hopefully remember, coming to Fall Story and being able to give back and do that type of stuff.
Eventually, you'll hand the keys to the camp over to MJ.
Yeah. Let's hope. Yeah, throw a junior on here and he can, keep making the same T-shirts. But
Awesome.
yeah, I would like to. We are doing a lot with this foundation right now, and it can be very hectic, it can be very crazy. Like, with me being retired, I have not felt retired one bit because, we had a charity softball event in Buffalo that
Right.
about. We have this event, and then next month we have a charity golf event in Iowa City. So, we've been, just trying to get these things knocked away, and it's a lot of daily conversations. So, the board and staff of Imagine have been doing a lot, and it's all volunteer work. So I love them to death for doing that. And so my plan is to kind of just continue on with what we have for the next couple of years, and then maybe MJ down the line can eventually pick up and help out. So that's the ultimate goal.